Are you feeling burned out or disinterested in video games? Well, in this video, we got you covered because in today's video, we'll be talking about burnouts and feeling drained on playing video games or simply losing your appetite to play them. I've got 10 tips that will help you out with just that. Without further ado, let's get into that. Hi and welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Vachel and this is Play. And in today's video, I'll be talking about 10 tips that will essentially change the way you perceive video games. These tips will be from simple recommendations of switching up to different genres to other things that you can do to apply in your life in order for you to enjoy games once more. I know there are dozens of videos out there talking about video games not feeling any more fulfilling, so that's why I decided that I should make a video where I'll be talking about this one. These are tips that I applied for myself and I continue to do them without even noticing. So I've been enjoying video games all my life, pretty much almost 3 decades by now, and I don't think it's ever going away because of the things that I'll be talking about. So without further ado, let's get into that list. The first tip that I wanted to share is to explore new genres. What you do is you step out of your comfort zone and try games from different genres that you haven't played before. This includes indies. Indies generally offer a unique experience and oftentimes they are not shy to innovate on different type of gameplays and stories that you cannot find in AAA games. And a lot of the time, if you are consuming nowadays AAA games, you'll notice that there is a mainstream kind of idea behind it where everything is either too large and big without filling it with meaningful things to do, or the story is whatsoever mediocre, or the gameplay itself doesn't spark any kind of interest. This is very common with AAA gaming nowadays, and exploring new genres and trying new indies will enrich your palette and your joy for games. I personally started enjoying more and more games like this because I noticed that AAA games simply don't do it for me. And if you are in the same situation like me, trying something new, trying a different genre that you're not comfortable in really helps out a lot. Now, I personally don't have that issue as well when it comes to trying out new genres because I always dabble and try new things out. Because I'm part of other communities like Steam Gifts allow me to win different kinds of games, I get to experience new games and really rekindle my love for gaming altogether. I've always been playing games that were role-playing games or strategy games, but didn't go beyond that too far. And with Steam Gifts and other websites where you get to experience and play your backlog, you definitely have a chance to give it a go and try it out. For the second one, I would say that you should play with your friends. Gaming is more fun with your friends. Join multiplayer games or co-op modes to enjoy gaming all together. It doesn't have to be always really, but sometimes you should try out and play other types of games, not only single player story-based games, and play with your friends. You don't have to go for the route that I like to go where it's completion, but at least enjoy games with your family and friends because it creates a social experience that you will never encounter in a single player game. For my third point is to set goals. Create personal challenges or set in-game goals to give yourself a sense of achievement. This could be from speed runs or trying to go for a difficult kind of play style. It's all up to you. It's also about trying to change the experience and see how you can rekindle that joy and enjoyment for a game that you love so dearly. Another thing that you can do is to dive into side quests and optional content to get most out of your games, or become a completionist and get as many trophies as you can for a particular game, and maybe be part of a community that does the same thing. As for number 4, I would say that you should limit your playtime. This is a very common solution for those who experience burnout. To avoid burnout is by limiting your playtime. Take regular breaks to keep the experience fresh. Give yourself time to miss gaming by taking breaks between different games, which can help maintain excitement and anticipation. Another thing that you can do is to spend less time with games is by playing indies or casual games that really don't require that much time playing long sessions. Take breaks in between whenever you're playing this one, or combine them in such a way where you're playing a longer game combined with a shorter game, so that way you experience experience games in a different kind of length, and you give yourself enough time to not feel burned out or depleted. For tip number 5 is to revisit classics, and that means to replay some of your old favorite games to rekindle that fond memories and remind yourself why you loved gaming in the first place. Play classics or retro games to experience the history or evolution of gaming and simply enjoy the games in a chronological fashion. I personally like to game like that, even if the game is maybe more than a decade old. Trying out new games all the time can be a hit or miss, and not all the games that come out today are an excellent game that you should pick up. But of course, if you want to experience gaming like everybody else and see what is all the fuss about a particular series, definitely playing the older ones will help you experience that much differently. Also, keep in mind that games used to be made differently back in the days. Not a lot of focus was made on story, but more on the mechanical things, or the games would be progressively more difficult, therefore helping you out to experience games in a different light altogether. For tip number 6 is to follow the story. Immerse yourself in a story-driven game that offers a compelling narrative and character development. Enjoy the depth and immersion of a single-player story without the pressure of multiplayer competition. Explore the backstories and lore of your favorite games to deepen your connections and understanding. I used to love following the lore of League of Legends. That was one particular thing that I really liked, and I discovered that I really like story-driven games because of it. I like to enjoy games for their story, but oftentimes if you are playing multiple games that are multiplayer, you're literally driving yourself into a rut by simply enjoying only multiplayer games. So going against tip number 2 is to switch up, if you're constantly playing multiplayer games, to something that is more single player oriented. For number 7 is to experiment with mods. I talked about this one in multiple videos before, but mods for me have a special place in my heart. Using mods to enhance or change your gaming experience adds so much more content and gameplay varieties that it's hard not to look at the game in a different light. Not every single game out there has mods that are capable of doing that, but if you're enjoying games that allows you a large creative freedom, you're definitely gonna be able to find them on Nexus Mods or Workshop in Steam and other places. And PC gaming is the best platform when it comes to getting games modded, so keep in mind that if you are a console player, maybe you would like to skip that point altogether. For number 8 is to create a gaming schedule. Designate specific time for gaming to balance it with other activities and avoid feeling overwhelmed. I know for a fact that I used to game a lot back in the days, and I would wake up and game all the way until evening when the sun would set down, and maybe even beyond that. Gaming became such an addictive drug for me back in the days when I was a kid that it was hard for me to put down, and that can really create some serious burnouts as you get older and you go through so many games, or you're replaying the same games over and over again. So first thing when you start the day is to consider doing the chores or other things that you have to do in the day, and then consider gaming. For instance, I like to record first and foremost early in the morning, right after I've done my chores, so that way I know that I feel in a way or another productive. Then I leave my gaming session much later in the day. I like to play them in the evening, but that is fairly up to you if you want to play in that kind of way. But I noticed that it's really helping me out to really enjoy games, and whenever I have that dedicated time slot for games, I get to enjoy them with a lot more passion. I know that I only have 2 to 4 hours a day to play those video games, so I enjoy those games to the fullest. For tip number 9, and this has helped me a lot whenever I wasn't gaming, is to keep up with gaming news. Stay informed about upcoming games and industry trends to build anticipation. What I personally like to do is to listen to podcasts whenever I'm at work and be up to date with what has happened in the gaming industry. I learn about new games that are coming out, and I'm always informed, and I hear new opinions about games. And 2 of my favorite podcasts that I like to listen is Friends Per Second and Kinda Funny Games Daily, where I get daily news about games and I stay informed. For tip number 10 is to learn game development and also learn about sound design. Take up basic game development to appreciate the intricacies of game design and appreciate the effort behind game soundtracks and sound effects and how they enhance the gaming experience. Maybe you're one that have been inclined about game development but don't really have a great idea about how to do it, or where to start. Luckily, there are tools and guides online where you can literally start from scratch without any kind of development skills or coding skills and get yourself a game from the ground up. Tools like Unreal Engine or Unity can help you out to create stunning looking games with little effort and sometimes even for free. So if you're considering to go for something much more different and learn how games are being developed and maybe even appreciate much more games altogether, I think it helps a great amount to learn about game development and sound design. As a bonus, try different platforms, experiment with gaming on different platforms such as consoles, PCs, and mobile devices. Not to mention, nowadays we have so many handheld devices. Definitely try out handheld devices like the Switch, the Steam Deck, the Rogue Ally, and even the Playdate. I think it's a great medium to not play games only on one particular console, trying out new things, playing with friends, and being able to disconnect from being only on the couch or only in front of your desk really helps a great amount of time to really enjoy games in a different light and not feel burned out. So there you have it. That's the list plus the bonus that I wanted to share. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the tips, which ones have been helping you the most. Also drop a like to help me out with the algorithm and subscribe to the channel for more gaming content like this. That's all I wanted to share today. My name is Vashera and this has been a Tailplane Guide video. And as always, stay safe, take care, and happy gaming.